The case you are about to hear now is a crazy one, but stay with me. I have said it over and over again that in the whole of Nigeria, nobody is like Very Dark Man.
Very Dark Man is going to be very disappointed if this story turns out to be true regarding Abubakar, Marshall, and Hassan. Hassan is one guy that is very close to Very Dark Man. In fact, if Very Dark Man is in this town, Abuja, going anywhere, Hassan is the one that used to move him to every corner. Hassan is very close to Very Dark Man. Now, there is this allegation that Abubakar, Marshall, and Hassan has been involved in taking money from a particular man, which is something that is very terrible. But you can't believe a story when it's from one side. We have to wait till we'll hear from their own side. But this is the story. Listen to this first before we come back.
The case you're about to hear now is a crazy one, but stay with me. I have said it over and over again that in the whole of Nigeria, nobody is like Very Dark Man. And that is why my respect for him is 100%. There is no minus. Even people that are close to him, even his friends and close associates, if they have the opportunity that Very Dark Man has today, what they will do to Nigerians with their influence, you will not believe it. Anyway, who could believe that somebody that is as close to Very Dark Man as Marshall Abubakar and Marshall Hassan could go to the extent of, doing evil on other people, or better to say, scamming people, all in the name of Very Dark Man? That is a very crazy situation. We all know this man called Onwa. His real name is Austin Ogwejofo. So Onwa, we all know when Very Dark Man was doing the case that has to do with Onwa. Onwa did not just scam that man. He also scammed another person, 195 million naira. So that person has been struggling to meet Very Dark Man. And what did the people that are close to Very Dark Man do? They are now using their influence and their proximity, the closeness that they share with Very Dark Man. They are now using it as a means to extort money from people, just promising them that they are going to connect them to Very Dark Man. That was how this guy that contacted me fell into their trap. He said that he contacted Hassan, and Hassan told him that he's going to link him to Very Dark Man. After everything, of course, I have all the evidence, both their chats, everything, both the receipt of his transactions with Onwa. I got every details that is needed before I could even come out to say this. So the man eventually was convinced by Hassan. He traveled with the wife from Lagos to Abuja to see Very Dark Man. Within that period they were in Abuja, Hassan kept tumbling him. In fact, he said that one of those days that they were at Kefiano Motors waiting, they ended up seeing Very Dark Man's friend Coco P, but they did not see Very Dark Man. They said Very Dark Man went to North, one state where there was killing, both in Benue, like all the activities of VDM, they were using it to make excuses. At the end, Hassan collected 500,000 naira from them to be able to link them to Very Dark Man. And as they were trying to meet VDM, they finally met with the lawyer, Marshall Abubakar. Marshall collected 2.5 million. In fact, he earlier told them that the legal fee, that they don't even need to worry, that he already has the case of Onwa ongoing, that he will just package this one and join, that he already have the cars and other property that belongs to Onwa, that once he completes paying the case that VDM had already, instituted against Onwa, once Onwa is done paying that one, he will now use the opportunity to collect their own money. And he charged them 3 million. They negotiated and paid him 2.5 million. The payment was made on the 2nd of April 2026. At the end of the day, they spent all the days in Abuja without meeting VDM. They traveled back to Lagos. Since that day, they have been trying to reach Marshall Abubakar. At a time, Marshall stopped picking call. Marshall stopped responding to messages till now. So this case is even multifaceted. Number one is the case of Augustine Ogwejofo, which is Onwa. That's a different case. But regardless of what Onwa has done, now Marshall Abubakar being a lawyer, it is even unprofessional as a lawyer to take money from a client and promise the person that you are going to write a petition to pursue a case. And now, no feedback since April. That's over 3 months now. They have been trying to reach you and you keep avoiding them, avoiding the messages and everything. And even collecting money to connect people to Very Dark Man. We know Very Dark Man. Even if he wants to do a case for you, most times he does it with his own money. That's the kind of person he is. So if he, I wonder how he would feel knowing that people around him are using his name or his connection to make money off other people that are looking for justice. This is the problem that we've been talking about Nigeria. A typical Nigerian is looking for an opportunity to loot you, an opportunity to defraud you, an opportunity to collect money from you. That is the issue. So this is me. Please, if you've watched, please help me tag Very Dark Man to this video. He needs to, I can furnish him with more information on this guy that has this case. If there is a way he can help them, that would be really, really appreciated. But above all, Marshall Abubakar needs to return that money to them. And also Hassan, for promising to connect them to Very Dark Man and failing, he needs to return that money. Because this is pure evil and it should not be tolerated. Because you are connected to Very Dark Man, it's not an opportunity for you to leverage on it and be extorting people. And before you talk, I have already written Marshall Abubakar on Instagram for many days and he did not respond. If he had responded, probably I would have heard his own side of the story. But the way this whole thing is narrated is so clear that even the evidence of the messages they have been dropping, he did not respond. Calls, he did not pick, he didn't call back. That is not how to do things. I also forgot to add that they had told the guy that if VDM helps him and recover that money, that they would take 20% of the money. That's 20% of the 195 million. At the end, they negotiated and they agreed on 15%. This is not how VDM operates. We know VDM, but even though they had made that agreement, they would have still followed it up and at least deliver on their promise.
Now, when it comes to integrity, this thing they call integrity is not with mouths. Integrity is something that is inbuilt and something that you have to build yourself and kill so many urges, so many things that will come your way. I remember when Very Dark Man used to say that he's God on earth. Some people don't understand. I am not judging Hassan and Abubakar Marshall yet. I am not saying whether they are right or wrong, but I want to use this point because of this accusation to make my own point. When people say they have integrity, when VDM say I am God on earth, because he said that he has killed that spirit, that one spirit that makes people to go out and do something that they are not supposed to do. He has killed it out of his own way. The spirit of saying money, money, money. Money is the root of all evil. It is clearly stated in the word of God. I can tell you that VDM integrity is compared to none. We all know that. But nevertheless, we'll be waiting to hear from Barrister Marshall and Hassan, because this accusation with evidence is not something nice, not at all. So at this point in time, let's give them fair hearing, because it is important you hear from both sides. You cannot just start saying, oh, Barrister Marshall is a bad person, is a bad guy, is an evil person for doing this. Because by the time Marshall will give his explanation, you might see reason to say, oh, so the money was for so. Because sometimes when people enter problem, they don't go tell you the real truth. They go begin tell you what is not obtainable. Then later you realize that no, now is this how the story is? And to Hassan's side too, put side by side, that's 3 million. Nevertheless, we must hear from them before we can make our own input. For now, we give them fair hearing. We are listening to you, Hassan and Marshall Abubakar. Respond to this, so peace.